Hey everybody, I'm Taylor Lancaster, and in this podcast, because this is going to come out later, we're putting this on YouTube. In this podcast, I'm going to be talking a little bit about my book that I'm going to put out. And this book doesn't have a title yet, but it is about pornography and the recovery for 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 those who have been addicted, and also for the people who are with the addictive people. I have some notes, so if I look down a little bit, I'm sorry. Or if I show you some pieces of the outline here, it's fine. Okay, so what's this book going to do? This book is to help addicts and their family members and friends to get over their addiction and to recover to full recovery and have long life sobriety from pornography. Because the one difference between pornography and any other addiction is that drugs are a substance and you can put them into your body and you have to go out and find them. It's not that hard to find them, but you can access pornography from your phone or from any electronic device connected to the internet. So it's all around us, and pornography can be in different shades as well. The definition of pornography is any form of media that causes arousal, which is also written material, such as 50 Shades of Grey, yes, that is pornography, or any other reading material that is gauged towards women, or photos, or videos, or audios. It doesn't matter. It's media causing arousal to do things that are not natural to the human body. Because sex is a natural thing, okay? In certain forms as well. But sex is a natural thing. And pornography destroys what it truly is and the nature of it. The nature of sex is to love your partner. And really, if you can't love your partner and you would rather watch something because they can't do a certain sex move or something like that, then you really do need to find some help, because that's what it is. If you would rather watch pornography or have a sex addiction, which is you would rather have sex with a lot of different people or with a different person other than the one you're married to or in a relationship with, you have a problem and you need to seek help. And that's what this book is about, is to show you the way and how to get proper help. As well, I'm going to be using hypnosis in this because that's how I got rid of my pornography addiction. Yes, I am Taylor Lancaster. I'm a certified consulting hypnotist. I'm an ex-porn addict. It's a hard, long road, and that's why I want people to get this book, because it helps, and I know exactly what to do. I know where I faltered, and I know where I didn't care to have sobriety, and I know what the hardest points are. So really, I'm here to help you, and this is the only reason why I'm writing this book. Let's get more into the material. What starts an addiction? That's a really good question. How does an addiction start? How does it truly begin and then become such this big thing? We can ask the same thing about babies. How are they so small and turn into such big things? And adults, one day at a time, one step at a time. It takes just one time to become an addict. Kind of the same thing with cigarettes. They tell you not to smoke for health reasons, because it only takes one to get addicted to nicotine and then become an addict. Now, I understand that everybody who looks at pornography isn't going to become an addict. There isn't some appeal there, Okay, I get that. I also get that people aren't going to smoke or do crack, cocaine, food addict. It doesn't matter. Okay, but there's an appeal to the addiction that they have. And that's how it starts. You just become, well, with pornography, it's more of a curiosity thing. And that's how I started. I got curious about sex, and I went out to find out what it actually was, when really I should have been asking my parents. But I was kind of afraid to, because in my culture, I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's not a religious thing, but it is a cultural thing that we just don't talk about sex because it's so sacred and beautiful. But we treat it like it's a nasty, gross thing by saying, oh, you don't want to get involved with huggers, you don't want to get involved with this. And we take something so beautiful and turn it into something so bad. Sex is good at the right time with the right person in the right place. You can't get better than that. And sex is very fulfilling. But pornography isn't. And it uses the same chemicals, except for one thing, guilt. Until you get addicted to it, and then guilt still flows in there, but if you have no conscience, it just feels good all the time. So if you're having a trouble with finding why you're doing your addiction, maybe you need to find your conscience. Because if you're too far gone in a sense, then seeking help is not going to help you, because you don't care to. Let's look more into the science of it and the science of how the brain works. So basically how the brain works, and especially in hypnotherapy, we explain it as there's 10% conscious mind, 90% subconscious mind. Okay, subconscious is videotape. It records everything. You're gonna get everything up from conception, blah, 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 blah. Whenever your brain was formed, it starts recording. So you have all those memories that are stuck up here, but you don't remember them consciously. You can go in using hypnosis and regression to find them, but that's not what we want to talk about right now. So how addictions form with theory of the mind is something happens. There is an event, an essential initializing sensitivity event. Initial sensitizing event. They happen about from 1 to 7 years old. So with these events, it could be as simple as a kid spilling milk all over the floor, his mom saying he's stupid, and then he thinks he's stupid for the rest of his life because he does more stupid things to make him believe that he is stupid, such as he spills the milk and the next day he breaks a Lincoln log or something like that, or he destroys his brother's project, throws mud all over the dogs, and then they say he's stupid for the rest of his life. This does happen, and I've seen it firsthand, and not from my own perspective, but from a family member. And you have to understand that these events can be anything. They can be very simple, or they can be exactly what they are: horrific. One event that I remember from a client that is they were abused by their parents sexually, and they thought pornography was okay, and they lived their life with a pornography addiction, and they finally broke through with hypnosis. But the thing is, why would an adult do that, and a child think that, oh, from this I believe that pornography is okay, that I was abused as a kid? Why would you think that? It's very simple. Your brain doesn't realize what it's doing sometimes, and you think like a child. You're trying to protect yourself. That's what the brain was designed to do. I'm a very religious person, but there is some point to evolution. And our brains have evolved from people running around trying to catch their food and not be killed by predatory animals. And those instincts are still there. When you're abused, you believe that you're being hunted by a predatory animal, which you are. Very predatorial. No one should be beating a child, or no one, physically, sexually, anyway. It doesn't matter if you're family or not. You should not be abusing children. And your sensitizing events, I understand that they can be simple and something different, and you would blame your parents or blame whoever it was that made it happen. They did things the way they did things back then. You just need to forgive them and move on. But that is pretty much how the brain works. But how we use hypnosis to unlatch those cognitive events and those feelings surrounding those events and adding on to other events. We use hypnosis and we look at it from an adult perspective. Did you do anything wrong as the child? No. It was someone else's fault. And that has caused you to believe that it's all your fault and you do what you do, which you don't. But you do. But along that line as well, you need to take responsibility for your actions. You did what you did. Confess it, admit it, and move on. Get rid of it. Change. That's what the whole point of this book is. It's not to say, oh, this is the reason why you have an addiction. Just keep having it, and you'll just be fine. No. The point of this book is for you to get over yourself and to help others. Because look at the world. How many people can you help with this overcoming of an addiction? How many people can you show the way that and say, I've done it. You can do it too. Do you know how many people can be blessed and helped with just one person? I'm reminded of a story of a little girl. She was on the beach, and this older man was following her, and there was tons of starfish on the beach. And she started tossing starfish in one by one. And the man went over and told her that you can't save all the starfish. And the one girl threw another starfish in and said, I made a difference for that one. And that's all we really need you to do. Not to bicker and say, I need to save everybody. You just save the people and help the people that you are surrounded by. That is the point of this book to you, so that you can help other people. Not for my profit and not for my benefit. I'm here to help you so you can help other people. That is my purpose, and this is the book's purpose. Moving on. Another reason why that addiction starts and becomes something huge is because you're missing a certain need. A need for love, a need for curiosity, especially with younger boys. Curiosity kills the cat, and you kind of just find, and you want to know a lot of things, especially in my situation. I wanted to know everything. I'm a know-it-all a lot of times, and it got me in trouble. I went through a long, hard change, and I'm still making changes and adjusting. So it's not just one process, because it's just not an event, it's a process, because the needs that you have are constantly changing. Because as you change from a boy to a man to a father or a grandfather, your needs change. Your needs change in life. Your financial needs when you retire are different. When you get a mortgage, they're different. Everything changes in life, and there are certain triggers that can re-trigger your addiction, and you need to stay on top of it. And that's another thing we want to do, is to make sure that your addiction stays ended and eliminated, not continually going back and getting more and relapsing. Because I can tell you right now, I have relapsed from a long period of time not having the addiction. It is much harder to get rid of once you've relapsed from that long period of cleanliness. What are some of the examples of this need and curiosity and things that start addictions? So I wrote this down. Being bored on social media and an ad pops up with a risque picture or video. Reading material like 50 Shades of Grey. Another family person introduced it to you, sent you a message, or anything like that. Another ways that you find pornography, or you get to see it for the first time, is a family member introduces it to you with their phone or a magazine. Magazines at the gas and grocery stores. And it doesn't matter if it's intentional or not. Accidentally searching something on the internet and something pops up, and again, you want to know what sex is about, and you think pornography can explain it because you're so embarrassed not to talk to your parents, or your parents are embarrassed to talk to you. Those are some of the ways that things happen, and how addiction of pornography starts. And we're going to continue here for just another minute. How can these situations be avoided at first? Because we want to get rid of them altogether, okay? We want to get rid of the addiction from the end and from the beginning, so it never happens. One thing is, you need to teach your children, if you're reading this as a parent, you need to teach your children very, very soon, because they're being exposed by the time they can touch an iPad and comprehend how to play a game on it. It doesn't matter if they're a boy or girl, they're being exposed. And if you are an addict trying to help others, make sure they understand how to prevent themselves. And some of the ways that they can prevent themselves are as such: putting passwords and parent locks on devices that connect to the internet. Now, there are ways to work around it, but if you don't tell them the password and the ways to work around it, they will not find it. You need to have these on all the time, even for yourself, because you never know. And again, we talked about teaching our kids but another thing we need to teach is the definition of pornography. And pornography is any media portraying sexual acts in a risque manner or to arousal. And all of its forms, such as reading material in books, magazines, pictures, videos, and audios, you name any form of media, it doesn't matter. And you need to learn to watch appropriate movies. If there's a sex scene in there, it's pretty much considered pornography, because a lot of the times when you're coming off from porn and to the point of avoiding it at first, is if you can arouse somebody with just the simplest things, maybe you need to dial it back, okay? Same thing with a porn addict who's coming off. You avoid what you know arouses you, and the simplest things are the hardest. And another thing, especially for parents, when When your children or people have questions about sex, teach them proper sex things. Don't teach them how to have sex or any techniques. You need to teach them what it is, why it's so important, and how it helps relationships and marriages especially to grow and flourish, and how that children come about. Because sex is there to enhance the family, and to enhance the love between two partners. Now, that's all I have for today. That's all I have for today. This will be showing on Instagram and YouTube, so be posted on all these updates of the book, okay? And I hope to hear from you soon. And this will also be on a podcast on Spreaker and iTunes very soon. I'm Taylor Lancaster. I'm a hypnotist with Achilles Hypnosis. Have a blessed day.